On this April 1st, Relogic decided to take a step back and release on Steam one of the early versions of Terraria, the version 1.0.6. And being the Terraria enthusiast that I am, I didn't miss the chance to dive back into the simpler times of Terraria. Since everything in this version is quite different from what it is currently, I decided to rank the bosses I faced. But before we begin, please note that this is just my opinion and reflects the difficulty I had facing each of the 4 bosses in this version of Terraria. If King Slime is already considered a joke among bosses today, in this version, it's deserving of pity. The fight itself is very easy, but the way it spawns is a bit different. Usually, we associate the King Slime fight with the use of the Slime Crown or Slime Rain, but in this version, all you need to do is wait during the day at the edges of the map for it to simply have a chance to spawn. And all that waiting is practically useless because the only drop from it is a piece of the ninja set and a few gold coins. Next up after the blue slime is the Eye of Cthulhu. This one was a letdown for me. I had become so accustomed to the frenetic pace of the Master Mode fight that seeing it move so slowly was quite odd. During the middle of the fight, another eye naturally spawned, and yet it didn't add anything to the difficulty of the fight. Even after entering the second phase, the damage and attacks remained insignificant. In summary, it's just a long and boring fight. The second spot in my ranking goes to the Eater of Worlds, and I'll be brief about this one. Underground, it can be a threat, but when you're on the surface, it feels like the fight is over. While you hit, the Eater of Worlds takes the beating without even having a chance to defend itself. And if you have an area damage weapon, it's defeated in the blink of an eye. It's only not ranked lower, because fighting it in the underground corruption can make the battle quite challenging. The last boss in the video and the final boss of the game is the Skeletron. This one is a Terraria classic. It's big and imposing, yet it suffers from the same flaws as the other bosses so far. Despite being large and having arms that provide a good reach, it's slow and deals very little damage. And with a gravity potion and a ranged weapon, the Skeletron poses no threat whatsoever. It's somewhat disappointing to realize that the final boss of the game is this week. It's good to go back in time and realize how much Terraria has evolved as a game over the years. But after more than 12 hours playing this version, I hope I never have to go through that again.